Look at it this way. Let's draw a graph like this. Here we would have the level of selfishness or altruism. So let's say here is the field of selfishness. So you just think about you, harmonizing your psyche, you want you to be good. And altruism, here, altruism. Not caring about you, but more specifically about others. And then we will compare that with power. Okay, here let's put, no, it's not ego, I don't know what it is, but here it's power. So here let's say, okay, powerful. And here, weak. Alright, so we could see something like this, like 4 boxes. Look, in a normal time, what's going on is that to get what we want in social interaction, we don't want to be awkward, we want it to be good, we want good emotion, we want people to like us, etc. We have developed the intuition, the knowledge in your childhood that it comes with actually giving to people what they want, not making them feel awkward, not doing things that they will think is not appropriate. It would be about staying within the boundaries of what they are okay with. The problem is that at a default state, we're so fucking weak in terms of social power that we are stuck here. So we begin here, kind of. Altruism, but weak. You want to be altruist, you talk with someone, you want to be, you want to be nice with them, like a people pleaser. That's what we call a people pleaser. That's what we call a nice guy. You want to be nice with people, but it comes from weakness. It's because that's the only strategy you have. What we want to have the highest level of result with people is to go up to altruist, but powerful. Now you're altruist, not because it's the only way you know to get what you want, because this is actually a lower form of this. Weak altruism is just weak selfishness, but even more weak. So that even selfishness without giving a shit about others doesn't work. You're so weak that even this, you can maintain it. You can't enjoy your own selfishness because if other people don't like you, for example, it will affect you. So you're so fucking weak that even being selfish, you can't. You are stuck into weak altruism. This is the weakness form of social power. We want to end up in powerful altruism. Maybe you're already here. Maybe that would be very good. Maybe you're somewhere in powerful selfishness, or maybe in the lower, more weak place. I think there will be of everything in this project, but I'm absolutely sure that everybody will end up here, and that's the point. Powerful altruism. But how do you do that? How do you go there? How do you get power actually? Well, we've already explained in the project that social power comes actually from you getting what you want out of the interaction. And then from that place, now you're getting power. Now if you want, you can share this value with other people. But you can't go from weak altruism to powerful altruism without first getting back your selfish power. It doesn't work. You can't be altruistic with anyone if you don't have selfish power. If you're not capable of giving to yourself what you want, it's impossible to give to others what they want. Because the fact that you can get what you want entails a disharmony within your psychological parts. Disharmony, it entails high-level conflict between your psychological parts, and so it entails low level of consciousness, and so it entails that you have no fucking power to look what we've seen here. This thing, you can't be that powerful if you have low level of consciousness. It doesn't work. You have to go up the levels of efficiency of consciousness, which is very fast if you build short-term momentum. But if you want to have it in a consistent way, which doesn't go away after the short-term momentum, it takes a bit more time. However, it's accessible. You can't do that. You can't fucking do that with low-level consciousness. And here, that's what you have. You have low-level consciousness. How will you go up the levels of consciousness? You have to harmonize the parts in your psyche, or at least when I mean harmonize, it can also mean to unpolarize the shit conflict and then polarize in a better way behind. You want to get out of the internal conflicts, which come when you are in weak altruism. And so for that, what does it mean? What do you think? You have more altruist parts in your psyche, or you have built with time more selfish parts in your psyche? There is way more selfish parts, and they are well more polarized. So it's just a matter of statistic that the natural way to build up your levels of consciousness is to harmonize the selfish parts first. It's just natural consequence of this statistic. And then when you've harmonized the bigger part of the shit, which is the selfish parts, so that you have what you want and your selfish parts are in harmony, now you can extend to include the altruist parts as well. And so there is this dynamic, this pattern that shows up, that you can't do that. It's not possible. If you try to do that, basically you're just stuck here. You can't get out. If you try to go here, you just come back here. It doesn't work. You have to first come here. Selfish weak. So it just means that you accept that the potentiality that people are not going to like you or are not going to enjoy your presence, for example. So you're still not fine with it, but you go there. You start walking, creating momentum in the direction of being more selfish. Okay, I don't give a shit about if I generate negative emotions for them. I don't give a shit if I create suffering for them. It's about me. I want to get more selfish. I want to me be happy. You go there, but you're still weak. So you work, you create the momentum we've talked about. You work on yourself. Now, boom, you get to power. Selfish, powerful. That's basically... selfish, powerful is basically the pattern of the bully. That's cool. The cool kid who is mean with the not cool kid. This is powerful selfishness. And within powerful selfishness, one of the funniest value containers is bullying. That's how it is. But if you evolve further and you go to the next stage, powerful altruism, then now you get even more powerful. Look, it's as if power, it works this way, but it works also this way. So power actually should be like this. Power. Okay, right? It's both ways. Okay, it's kind of fucked up, but you get the idea. You get the idea of it. Cool. I think we have everything. So basically that's it. Before approaching, you want to create this momentum in your mind. You want to polarize this with the happiness hub, the polarities of calibration before after action, the ratio good and believable, and that's it. And you want to get to that. That's what you want to do before approaching. That's the optimal case scenario. That's what you might want to do if actually you still not ready to take risk on approaching people. You just want to work. So you'll take 1 hour every day to go have slow walk. You walk slowly. If you go too fast, it will stimulate you too much. It will get you into thoughtless action, which is low level consciousness. So you will not be able to build more level consciousness. So walk slowly, chill, so that you build more consciousness. You don't get too much stimulated and parasited in your mind by the action. And you work on building that. It's only happening in your mind. You can do it. You know you can do it. You just apply. You practice all of this. I promise you. You will get so good so fucking fast. Because here you're going to the core. You're touching the core of what will make you good at approaching women, dating them, and making the interaction go where you want. You're touching the core of it. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention it, but it's obvious. Within the happiness hub, escalation, right? Escalation proximity. So when you think about the happiness hub, you will actually do it. Then when you want to alternate with better levels of believability, then you will lower how much you escalate from the beginning. Because, well, if you want to change the ratio, you have to make it more believable. And so the reaction will not be so good because otherwise you will not believe it. And so women will not be reacting so well to your sexual escalation. And so you will have to escalate less from the start. It will build calibration at the same time. And then you go back up, lower level of believability, but better reaction. And so now you can escalate however you want. And you alternate opposite polarities until it's integrated. All right. So that's it for what to do before approaching. That's the optimal case scenario. Sometimes you don't have time to build this momentum. Sometimes you just want to build a little bit. Practice it entirely so that you get the full picture, and then you will be able to create shortcuts. Less dense, needing less momentum, not such complex momentum, sometimes not even any momentum about it. And with time, even more, it will become long-term momentum, so it won't go away. So with time, you don't even have to go through it entirely. The more you do, the better it is. But you will be able to use shortcuts. And for example, if you're not in a session and you see a woman that you want to approach, well, you're not going to be like, oh wait, I'm first going to create the momentum. No, you will have to go. This will be what we'll be talking about in the last video of this part, power versus force. Here, we're building power. Hey, look, power. We're building power. Sometimes we will have to mix it with force, which will be about pushing your psychology, being like, hey guys, we don't have time to harmonize. Let's just do it. Force. Well, a pretty long video. However, it's worth it. Apply it every day for 1 month, 1 hour every day. Do it. You will be fucking pissed. Also, this graph is going to do something very, very interesting for us. Is that it's going to help us fix a paradox that you might have seen in the dating community before, if it's not the first product that you watch. There's always been this idea of value and comfort when it comes to dating women. Value basically was defined how attractive you are as a man. And comfort was like the idea that you really like her, you're willing to be there for her, things like this. And there's always been this paradox between, well, the more value you have, so with this terminology, it means the more attractive you are, the less comfort they will be, because having a lot of value in the way it was perceived before in the dating community, being very attractive was linked to basically not being needy, putting ourselves on the pedestal, making her chase, whatever, those kind of strategy that we've been talking about before in the course. And so it was in contradiction with comfort, which is like, I really like you, I want to stick around with you, and this kind of stuff. If you have this framework in your mind, well, I suggest you to upgrade it with this graph, to upgrade it this way. And instead of seeing it like value and comfort, change this terminology. Instead, see it as power versus altruism. See it this way, power and altruism. Power and altruism. See it this way, because this is the best way to see it. This is, in my opinion, the real way that we have to see it. It's not value and comfort, it's power, altruism. That's it. And we could replace that by, if you want, selfishness versus connection. You can see it this way. Look, it's in the graph. The more selfish you are, the more you will tend to be powerful. There is this kind of tendency. The problem is that, look, if you don't know what is the principle of homeostasis in physics, it's the principle that when there is a lot of force, a lot of physical forces, all acting on the same system in different ways, the system will end up into some states which will be stable because the force will start to balance themselves together. And some other states of the system are not stable because the force are not balanced together. For example, the pen here. Here there is homeostasis because I'm holding it in my finger, so it's not going to fall. If I take out the force of my finger, there is no more homeostasis. It falls, right? Now it's on the floor, it's not moving anymore. Now there is again a homeostasis. You see the idea? Why is the pen not going to stop just in the air here? Because the forces are not balanced. There is no homeostasis. Well, maybe I'm not using the right word. Well, my courses on physics and mathematics, I just have memories from them from university and advanced mathematics classes, so it's not very fresh. but you get the idea. Here, with human being, there is the same principle of homeostasis in the states. You have states of homeostasis. And look, in the normal states, in the normal stages of development of human beings, when they are not really grown, why do women say, I want a grown man, I really want a man. I don't want a kid, I want a man. Because if you're a kid, you will have certain homeostatic states that you can access. And if you're a man, if you're an adult, if you've evolved, the force in your psyche will change, and the homeostatic states that you can attain will be different. Look at it this way. When you're a kid in your psychological development, the homeostatic states will be those one, up this one and this one. So basically, this is the dichotomy of asshole against nice guy. Fuckboy and the nice guy. Well, the problem is not that the nice guy is nice, and the problem is not that the asshole is an asshole. That's not the problem. Not really. It doesn't mean that to be attractive you have to be an asshole. It's just a matter of homeostatic states. Look, when we are not enough developed in our psychology, the only states that we can hold at homeostasis, so they will not move, are either weak altruism, as we explained before. You will be pushed in this corner, and so you will be a nice guy. That's a nice guy. No one likes a nice guy. Not because he's nice, but because he's weak. That's the problem. And so because he's weak, he can't give anyone good stuff. So his altruism doesn't have any value. There's no power in its altruism. So, well, it's a nice guy. An altruistic person who is weak. Women don't like nice guy because they are weak. They can give them anything. Well, on the other side, weak selfishness, we don't really stay here long. It's not really homeostatic, because actually when you get into weak selfishness, basically because of the way the psychology is made, you will get power from it. You will get power from it. And so you will rise into powerful selfishness. And now you're an asshole. Now you're a fucking asshole. Now you're a bully. You want to bully people. You take pleasure from just being fucking selfish. Right? So now you're an asshole. That's the other homeostatic states. And now why do women always end up with assholes? Why? Well, because in terms of statistic, that's the best choice there is. It's just the best choice there is. The nice guy, that's not interesting at all. The asshole is way more interesting. He has power in terms of psychology, not in terms of social status or whatever, in terms of psychology, in terms of ability to give people happiness. But still, he's very selfish. And so the girl, they suffer a lot from them. And you might get to that state. You have to be careful with that. I've seen that a lot in coachings. The guy is in a weak state because he does the exercises that we've just seen right before. He gets into a very powerful state, but then he's selfish in the sense that he's just enjoying himself so much that he will just approach, for example, a woman, and he enjoys a lot the fact of talking to a woman, but to the point where he doesn't give a shit anymore about what they are experiencing. He's really like, yeah, but right now I don't give a shit if they don't like me. I don't give a shit if they don't like it. I'm enjoying it anyway. They are very powerful, and that's attractive. But that looks like an asshole. And especially when you're approaching a woman, let's say even in the streets, where it's really hard to trust someone, a stranger. Here, if you look like an asshole, it's going to be really hard for women to stay. They will leave. This homeostatic state, the asshole, the powerful selfish guy, it works in, let's say, social circle gatherings where there is already some level of trust. In the street, approaching someone in the street, women are not going to react well to it. They are going to react well to the weak altruist guy because, well, he is weak and altruist, but actually the simple fact that he approached me in the streets for a lot of reasons, it still builds some happiness to her. And so she's like, oh, okay, I kind of enjoy it anyway. And the other that they will react well to is powerful altruist. All the selfish parts are going to be very unstable in terms of approaching women and getting good reaction. That's why you might have this phenomenon where you will start approaching women in the street. It will go very well, you will have very good reaction, you will get numbers, etc. But you will not conclude with them. Nothing will happen with those women. But you will have very good reaction. And then at some point, you only have bad reaction. You approach women, you have bad reaction all the time. Why? Because actually you had good reaction before because you were in the altruist weak phase. Then you got some power, and because you got some power, you became selfish. That's the problem. You got power from it. So at first, at some point, you rise up to powerful altruists, which is the best one. So now you get really incredible results, but there is no homeostasis here. It's unstable. You will fall out of it. And soon you will either go back to being weak, either to being selfish. There is no homeostasis yet. You have to work on it. And so now you will have this behavior, like for example, you will look blasé, you will look annoyed, you will look like you're not having fun. You will look like you're talking to the woman, but you're actually not interested in her. Well, there will not be connection, what we call connection. What we want is power and connection. Notice that if you start to really enjoy yourself and not give a shit about what people think of you, notice that you might stop being altruistic and start thinking, well, okay, so now I have power, but it's not optimized, and so I will not get the result I want. Especially with women. You want to have and the power and the altruism. This is what they mean by I want a man, a real man. What it means is that a man is someone who is capable of maintaining at homeostasis in a stable way the state of powerful altruism. That's a fucking man. Powerful, altruistic, and it's not just a state, it's a stage. There is homeostasis. Doesn't go away most of the time. When it goes away, this is what's not normal. The norm for him is to be in this of powerful altruism. That's what it means to be a fucking man, in the sense that women mean it.